Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Come Play Network. My name is Tyler. On January 26, 2020, Kobe Bryant was involved in a helicopter accident along with his daughter, Gianna Bryant, and seven others in Calabasas, California, killing everybody involved. It absolutely rocked the sports world and really honestly put a stop to the world for the day. Today on the show, we're going to discuss Kobe and his legacy and everything to do with him growing up, being a Philly guy, and just the amazing career that he had. With me today is Bobby and Brendy, who I will. It's not easy to bring you guys in with a topic like this, but
Nope.
yeah, it's something that we felt that we had to do for a guy who just an absolute legend. Not, and I know this was mentioned for a lot of people, but really for a guy like this, like not just a legend and an MVP on the court, but off the court as well.
Mm,
And you've seen, with a lot recently with his daughter and stuff like that.
yeah.
So we are going to talk about Kobe today, and again, just absolutely heart stopping. I guess initial
Couple.
reaction.
I do want to give a couple of quick notes. This video is
Yeah,
not monetized. This video is not monetized.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, we are not in any way trying to capitalize, but we felt the need to talk about this as guys who are, I guess, in a way, sports journalists, sports fans. All those we felt the need to kind of talk about this, and there was no room for it on the podcast, just because this topic absolutely requires its own video, its
hmm
own dedicated time to kind of let breathe. And it's such a somber thing and such a tragic ending to this man's life, and then those on board the helicopter as well. So that's why we're here. But I just wanted to get that out of the way ahead of time, so we you know no backlash.
yeah,
This is all because we're fans of this guy. That's really what it
yeah,
comes down to.
yeah. Kobe. I was never a. I mean, I've always been a sports fan for really all the sports, but I was never like the biggest basketball fan. But,
Mm-mm.
of course, Kobe Bryant is, he was one of the biggest athletes in all of sports. Doesn't matter what
Yep.
sport you followed. And he really, and I know it's been kind of going around lately after his death, but the whole thing was like, you shoot some trash into a trash can, you say Kobe, like it was
Yep.
all part of it, man. I guess initial reactions for us, for me and Bobby, and then we'll get to Brendy because me and Bobby were together, driving down the highway and got a call from somebody, and he said that Kobe Bryant died, and we're like, and me and Bobby literally, Bobby was driving going 70, 75. We looked at each
Yeah.
other for a good 2 seconds and like just jaw just dropped, like, what? And I didn't have any service at the time, so like I was scrambling to try to like figure it out because it was first reported by TMZ, and Bobby.
I have some problems with TMZ.
Yeah,
Um,
so
I won't go into detail about that right now.
so we kind of just were like, all right, like, or we sure, and sure enough, obviously that news spread really quickly, and we got the information that we were hoping was false. There was also a lot of rumors going around with this, and finally it all got sorted out. But initial reports were kind of foggy. But out of
Oh,
all of
they
it,
were extremely foggy. There were outlets trying to rush to get the scoop by saying, "Oh yeah, him and his whole family are dead." Poor
yeah,
guys.
that's literally what
Way to go.
yeah, there was I think it was actually CBS, which is funny.
Yeah,
That
CBS or ABC. I believe it was ABC.
oh, ABC, yeah, you're right, ABC.
With that one specifically, but yeah, details were not totally clear. Yeah, a lot of people just trying to figure out what the hell even happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was our reaction. Brundy, what was your first reaction to hearing this huge news?
Well, I'll bring a little bit more of some lighthearted humor into this, just to kind of perk everyone up. So, uh, it was kind of a slow morning for me in general. Like I woke up kind of late, didn't really have a whole lot to do. I was just doing some studying for my job, and I was actually playing some RuneScape, and I was just walking around in game, and someone in like one of the areas I was standing in was he basically he said, "Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. What a legend." And I was just so like LeBron James had recently passed Kobe Bryant in scoring.
The night
Yeah,
before.
the night before.
So
Yeah.
like I thought that was like something he was referencing. So like I didn't say anything. So like when he said R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, I was like, okay, like that's probably what he means. So I didn't really think much of it. But then like a couple minutes later, like just out of curiosity, like I googled Kobe Bryant. Like I don't really know what um I don't really know what convinced me to Google Kobe Bryant, but I see like 3 news articles saying that he died in a helicopter crash, and I'm like, holy cow! And then the first thing I did was I actually called Bobby, and Bobby already had the news. Well, okay, I take that back. I tried calling Tyler. Tyler didn't answer.
He didn't have service. He was with me, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then I ended up calling Bobby. Then Bobby and the three of us talked for a few minutes, and then the rest of the day, like I was getting I was getting texts from my mom, who I'm pretty sure has never watched a basketball game in her life.
Yeah.
But
My
she
mother
was
did the
like-
same thing.
But she was like, "Oh my gosh, Kobe Bryant just died," and I'm like, yeah, I know, like that's unbelievable. But yeah, so that's kind of how I found about it. I I found out playing RuneScape.
That's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, I remember. I actually forgot you told me that, but yeah, it was like I mean, you guys said both of your moms, even my mom, same thing, Brendy. I mean, she hasn't watched an NBA game in Jesus, probably since like Magic Johnson was playing. Like,
Jeez.
like, and she's like, "Oh, Kobe Bryant." I was like, "Dude, like, it was absolutely crazy." And you know, a guy that was only 41 years old, and
Too fucking young.
yeah, and not to mention his daughter as well.
That was what got it for me. I know before even anybody confirmed the whole ABC thing and CBS thing. The first thing I asked was, don't tell me his daughter was with him, because they've been traveling a lot. I know Tyler has a video. I don't know if he's showing or he's going to show, but his daughter Gianna has apparently taken essentially the one who was going to continue his legacy, and he apparently wasn't even watching a bunch of NBA after he retired, but apparently once she kind of picked up the ball, he was taking her to games and running her through stuff. Like, you just see him talking on the sideline all the time. It was lovely to watch, and I'm glad that a lot of networks were putting focus on that when those moments were happening.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, thank God it wasn't the whole family like a lot of people were reporting, but it is a shame that a 13-year-old girl lost her life in this way. It's just not really fair. It really is what it is. It's what sucks the most about this. I mean, yeah, Kobe was a legend, and he didn't deserve to die. Nobody on that helicopter deserved to die. It just was unfair and a really just freak thing. But you know, 13. We're talking about 13-year-old girl here, man. I mean, it's a shame.
There was also after, you know, all the everything happened, there was also confirmed deaths of the other people. There was also 2 other young girls on there as well, because they were going to a game for the girls, basketball game, and I've seen a lot of things afterwards about Kobe, about this helicopter. This is not a new thing. I seen a clip of him talking about it, and it's kind of like heartbreaking, honestly, when you kind of hear the reasoning for it. So he said that, you know, everybody knows LA traffic is absolutely brutal, and it would take him sometimes an hour and a half to get to, you know, the stadium or the practice facility, wherever he needed to go.
Right.
And it was taking away from his family time. So he wanted to, you know, be able to take a helicopter to get there in 20 minutes, put the work in. And we all know Kobe with his work ethic. That was one thing that people really, you know, are going to remember about him. I mean, the guy might have been the hardest working player in the NBA, and that's, you know,
by a mile.
why he went to that. But you know, he was saying like, oh, his wife would be like, you know, I'll pick up the kids and from school, and you know, Kobe would be like, no, like I want to be with them, because you know, you're there's times we're on these long road trips where you won't see your kids for like 2 weeks. So he talked about that, and I seen a clip about it, and that's what ended his life. It's kind of crazy. On screen right now, I'm showing the other 7 involved in the crash. Some the families that were with them, and the pilot as well. And it's just, like I said, heartbreaking. It sounds like to me, what they're reporting, and the investigation is not complete. So
ongoing.
it is ongoing, but it sounds like there was some weather issues, specifically fog, that was creating this problem. And that's why, that's possibly why the crash happened. And it was at 10 a.m. Pacific time in Calabasas. And yeah, like I said before, going to Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks, California, for a youth basketball event. Yeah, it's just absolutely. It's just me and Bobby and Brendy were talking about before the show. Like, I still really, and maybe we've all been through grief, and with close relatives and stuff like that, and you kind of go through this stage as well. But like, I'm still in the shock phase right now. Like, I still think he's here, kind of thing. Like, I feel like Kobe is out there being a dad, and
that's honestly kind of one of those things where it's like you don't honestly expect like celebrities like that to just just go like that.
No,
No, especially him.
Yeah, like someone like a complete sport, like if someone like someone that doesn't even watch sports, you say, okay, who's Kobe Bryant? They're gonna be like, oh, that one basketball guy, right? Like everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean everybody no, I mean, like we said before, I mean our moms, and I know just people people that don't watch basketball, I mean, they know who Kobe Bryant is. I mean, because it's not that he's just a basketball player. Like, he's a celebrity. Like, that's what it is. It's not just an athlete at that point.
Right. I honestly hadn't felt this way since like Michael Jackson died. Like,
yeah,
just like that's the kind of impact that I felt personally.
Yeah, it's crazy, and not to mention, as we just said before, Brendy mentioned before. I mean, it was literally a night before that that LeBron passed Kobe. And he had,
and it tweeted too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he tweeted, and I think he might have put an Instagram, photo up. I'm not even sure, but yeah, just crazy. So I wanted to get into some things with Kobe, as I mentioned before. A Philly guy. He was actually born in Italy, because his dad was a professional player as well. And he was playing overseas in Italy, and that's where Kobe was born. And I read an article that said he was fluent in obviously English, but Spanish and Italian as well, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, he went to Lower Merion High School in Philly. And one of those guys that, well, obviously it can't be done anymore, but was one of those special talents that skipped right through college and went right to the NBA, which is obviously not a thing anymore. I guess right off the bat, my question to you guys is and I know we were not really born, when we were born, Kobe was coming up through, like, he was in high school, I'm pretty sure, when we were born. Maybe just a little bit before that.
I was, let's see, I remember, well, I mean, I don't remember, but I was born and like Kobe was drafted and I was a month old, so
yeah. But I mean, obviously, a lot with what happened and just previous knowledge. Like, this guy was an obvious superstar right out of high school. Like, what made, we talk about the work ethic, but what else made Kobe's just Kobe?
Just his signature shot, the fadeaway.
Honestly, for me, it wasn't even that. It was just like his brand. Like, everyone knew. Like, he did marketing, or not necessarily marketing, but like he had a certain persona, like a certain way of doing what he did, essentially better than anyone at his sort of age group, and he became a superstar because of that. And I think playing for the Los Angeles Lakers certainly helped.
Yeah.
But as I was growing up, I was starting to see the purple and gold more often, and it was always associated with Kobe.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's if you've seen a Lakers jersey, I mean, in our era, like it was always Kobe. Like it wasn't, obviously like Magic was there before, but that's before us, and LeBron just went there. Like it was always, if it was a Lakers jersey, it was 99 times out of 100 Kobe.
Yeah, it was
It's
Kobe
either
or
Kobe or
Shaq.
Shaq.
Shaq, yeah. Which we'll get to in a little bit because those guys had an interesting relationship, and I don't know if you guys seen Shaq address
Oh, God.
yeah, that was
That was rough.
that
was really
almost put me
rough.
over the edge with the tear. Because I've
Yeah.
been like holding my
I get
tears in,
teary.
but like yeah, when they had Shaq talk about it, I mean, he's
Yeah.
obviously hurting, and it was tough to see.
Yeah, it's not fair. You saw a bunch of similar reactions. Man, I wish I remembered her name. The one ESPN host. She told a story
Yes.
about forget somebody find her name for me while I'm telling
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
She was telling a story how she met Kobe Bryant once, and her and Kobe apparently got to talk, and it was of course nervous for meeting Kobe Bryant. But they apparently were. She was pregnant at the time, and Kobe noticed and asked how far along she was and what she was having, like just general small talk, being a nice guy. It seems like, and he said she was having a girl and everything, and that apparently Kobe lit up about that, and they started bonding over being a girl dad, which started a hashtag that's still going around.
Yeah,
At the
girl
moment,
dad.
hashtag girl dad, and it's funny. Flyers player James Van Reeves announced he was having a kid, and it was a girl, and hashtag girl dad recently,
Yeah,
which is nice to see. So you're seeing a lot of like girl dad tweets and stuff like that. It's really cool, man. I mean, he was so proud of his daughters and his family, man. I mean, it was unmatched, and you saw Jimmy Fallon Jimmy Fallon talking about the first time he met Kobe, which apparently was when Kobe was 17 and just joined the Lakers, and Jimmy Fallon was just getting his start on the comedy scene in LA, and he went to go grab beer. And you can go watch the story. He tells it pretty hilariously, but he broke at the end, and it's just it's tough, man. I mean, even again for us, we never met Kobe. We weren't even, at least me and Tyler weren't. Brendy was only a month old, but I wasn't even alive when he got drafted.
no, me neither.
It still sucks, man, because he just was so synonymous with basketball, but just the legacy that he has, and just for his life to go out like that, like just like in the way that it did, and how soon it was, and it took his daughter with him. I mean, I think that's just the worst part of this whole thing, man. It sucks, and again, like you said, and kind of mentioning that. Even people who haven't been watching basketball, I very casually follow like the Sixers and basketball news and stuff like that. But it still hits, man. And being on Twitter and everything else over the past few days has been rough to see, man. I mean, everybody's, Kobe's now, widow has just Vanessa has just finally released a statement publicly ever since the accident. It's rough to read, man. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, there's good things that coming from it too. There's a lot of dedications. Mark Cuban said that nobody's gonna wear 24, which that caused for a lot of people to call on the NBA to actually retire both 8 and 24, which would be an interesting thing to see if they actually do or not. I know they just did a all-star format change up involving his number 24, and you're seeing cross sports acknowledging him. Alexander Ovechkin wearing a 24 on his back during warm-ups, and doing a moment of silence before the game began. You're seeing that across all sports, and it's insane, man, how many people were inspired by him.
That's, I mean, we said before, I mean, this guy was a celebrity, and you've seen how many people were inspired by him. And as Brendy mentioned before, like, obviously when anybody passes, that you have a connection to, it's tough, right? Like, that's life. Like, that's what happens, like, when you build that bond. But with Kobe, I mean, this is a guy that is just loved by so many, and it is a celebrity. And you just like when a celebrity passes like this, like just when they're not supposed to, like for like an accident like this, like that's when it gets like really devastating. Mentioning a point from before, the ESPN anchor who talked about the girl dad piece was Ellie Duncan. She did the piece, and I watched that, and again, it's just like that's pulling at the heartstrings there for sure. But yeah, just I feel like I'm kind of running in circles here, but my mind is kind of just boggled still because, as we stated before, like it was so unexpected.
Yep.
Again, me and Bobby just driving down the road, listening to music, just talking, doing whatever, and then like that just changed. Like my mood changed from that, man. And I'm like I said before, like I'm not even like a big basketball. Like I'm not I'm a basketball fan, but nothing huge. And it just hit, man. But as I mentioned before, I did want to just kind of go back to the Philly connection with Kobe. Just kind of some Philly pride, and I know he was born in Italy, but he did move, to my knowledge at least, moved to Philly after that. And this guy kind of just, it's funny. I think he said when he was a kid he was a Lakers fan, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's how he ended up there or whatnot, but I see right here, and the Lakers were his favorite team. Just and again, Lower Marion. I seen it, and Bobby, I don't know if you've seen it, because it was on our local news, but Lower Marion played a game the other day and honored Kobe, which was really cool. So, yeah, that was the first part of his career, and then obviously just an incredible career. I have Kobe's stats up. He averaged 25 a game.
We talk about how good he was and the legacy he has in basketball. I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
You need to read this for those who don't know.
Yeah.
For those who haven't looked.
Just to read off his accolades, because it's kind of crazy. 18-time All-Star, 5-time NBA champ, 12-time All-Defensive, 4-time All-Star MVP, the MVP for 2017-18 season, 2-time scoring champ, 15 All-NBA. He was All-Rookie and a finalist for the MVP twice. I'm sorry, a 2-time Finals MVP twice. Yeah, I mean, he averaged 25 a game. That in itself is absolutely crazy. I guess while we're on this kind of the subject of his career, I'll go to you, Brendy. Like, what is like a signature moment or like one of your favorite moments of Kobe?
Man, there's a lot. I think one of my favorites was when he. I think one of my favorites is when he hit that shot against. I think it was I think it was either Phoenix or Dallas, where it was in overtime, and there was a jump ball in center court, and he basically hit a game-winning shot as the buzzer was going off. And that was that was one of my favorite all-time clips of Kobe.
Yeah,
gonna have to find that real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, and I'm pulling it up now. Was Kobe's final game, where he dropped 60. I was watching that game actually, live, and I remember just the absolute. I mean, a lot of people got on him because he threw up a bunch of shots, but just, I mean, rolling this clip, I mean, look, like this guy is just doing absolutely everything. And it was just an amazing game. And I know it was his last game, and it's like, why maybe that's a dumb favorite moment, but it was for me. And maybe that's because I did watch it at the time, but I just remember watching the game, and there was a stretch in the last, I would say last 4 minutes of the game, maybe, where he could have thrown a shot up from the parking lot, and I would have been convinced it was going to go in. Like that's how much of a hot streak he was on. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I actually just pulled up the clip. So it was against the Suns in 2006, where he hit a game-tying and a game-winning shot in the same game. And it was in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. And after Kobe hit that game-winning shot, he did like the like the Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
like the like the fist bump or whatever, or
Yeah.
not the fist bump, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the underhand, the fist
Yeah,
bump.
yeah, he did that, and like that was one of my favorites because it reminded me of Tiger Woods, and you know I'm a big fan of Tiger.
Yeah, Bobby, I know when we talked before the show, I mean, the last game was big for you. Was there anything else like on the top of your head or just,
Oh, I don't care if this was debunked. I don't care. The no flinch from Matt Barnes on the throw in from under the
yeah.
net from 2010. And now I saw that there was a bunch of people like talking about the overhead. This was a while ago when they were talking about this again. It got brought up randomly. It's an infamous moment. And somebody found like the overhead angle of that thing happening, and you could see it wasn't quite in front of Barnes, but I don't care. That's one of the most gangsta things I've ever seen in my life, and I don't care. That dude didn't even blink. So I love that moment. Shit's just hilarious to me. I mean, dude was just ice cold on the court. It's just a fun little moment to see. But yeah, I mean that 60-point game, I watched like the last quarter of it, and that was just something nuts, man. That arena was popping.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that was special. And I know a couple other things for me is just some of the dunks that he hit were like absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
a lot of people know him as like a three guy, and like that was his thing because everybody just he was a sharpshooter. But back in his prime, man, like he was throwing down some nasty dunks. I'm trying to think who it was against, but the one where he does I think it was like a reverse slam on somebody, but like posterize
God.
them. Like it was just incredible.
He's good at that too.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, just an incredible player. I do. Excuse me. I want to get to talking about his relationship with Shaq a little bit because they had an interesting relationship. It was kind of, they were teammates for a while, and I don't know. I'm sure there was tension happening, but you guys are gonna have to correct me because I'm not completely sure.
It was weird.
But
It was like
I
there
know
was tension, but there was also an insane chemistry between the two.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know like Kobe was like getting on Shaq about being in shape. Like I know that was one of the big things um for him, and I don't know if that was all that was happening when they were playing. But I that came out years later, but yeah, I know that was a big thing. But I bring that up because, like I said, it was interesting, and I know like they're definitely friends. But just how Shaq really reacted, it was heartbreaking. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you guys have really any opinions on that, but it was just a weird. It was like it's just an interesting relationship in sports.
Yeah.
That
It's I don't know, because it was funny because the beef actually got brought up recently, like the past couple monmonths. I remember.
yeah.
'Cause sometimes when I don't even know what the story is, it was
I
just
think
like
it was about like he was like I would have won. Like Kobe was like I remember. I think the quote was something along the lines of like I would have won like 12 fucking titles if Shaq was in shape or something like that. It was like something like that. Yeah.
That's some good. I think I again, this is something I haven't totally looked into, but it was definitely obvious that uh it was definitely obvious that they shared a special relationship. I mean, with how broken Shaq was uh in his interview recently or during that ESPN special, uh it would safe to say that they did care for each other. So whatever beef they had, was bygones with bygones. I guess it's comparable or was comparable to what everyone thought the James Harden Russell Westbrook situation would have been like.
Mm.
I want to be the star type ordeal,
Yeah.
which I'm sure was part of it. And again, something I haven't totally looked into. I just know that there was beef and then there wasn't beef, but these two guys are brothers at the end of the day. So it was an interesting dynamic, and that alley oop from Kobe to Shaq. I forget what game it
Yeah.
was. There was one really big one. I just can't remember what it was. It's in like a lot of the sports moments compilations. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be anywhere near that net. You don't want to be anywhere on that court with that team. You just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was again that duo is. We talk about the super teams in the NBA now. I mean, that was a great duo that just did absolute work. You mentioned something before, Bobby, about how the Mavericks are retiring 8-24, and a lot of people are pulling for the league. I actually seen something come out today that Paul George is actually looking to change his number to 24 to honor Kobe. Like, how do you guys feel? Like, is that, I know it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but a lot of people are getting on we're getting on Paul George for, like, he wanted to honor him by changing to his number. Like,
it's funny because you saw a bunch of people who went away from wearing 24. Who did it? Someone on the Nets.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, he changed his number away from that, and then a lot of people change their numbers away. I think it's so different than the other people who have kind of donned 24 over the past, even if it was for a short period of time. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. And I'm not getting into this fist fight over who should and should not wear a 24. I mean, it would be interesting to see if 24 gets retired by the league. It'd be interesting because I know Joel Embiid wore it for the game after he passed.
Which I'm pretty sure, didn't he score 24 points then?
Yeah, he scored 24 points, and he said that he actually yelled Kobe because he did his classic fadeaway in the paint and did that. So that's supposed to happen. 24 is actually retired by the Sixers. I'm forgetting the player off the top of my head. But whoever player that was, he's still alive. And Joel apparently called him and asked him if it was okay if he could wear it one time just to honor Kobe, and he was apparently really cool with it.
Yeah.
So it was a nice touching tribute, and I'm not gonna get on him about for that, man. I mean, just everyone's honoring in different ways.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, everyone come together and be like, look, we miss this guy. This is just an absolute tragedy. So it sucks, and most of the tributes are really touching. So it's good to see everyone kind of come together about this. I mean, you saw in fucking 2K.
Yeah.
People walking around, what is it called? Like the lot or whatever, like what do they call it?
The park.
The park. And they were, I forget what exactly they were doing, but they're all walking around doing something for Kobe. I think they were like whatever hand signal.
I mean, this was happening in the NBA, but I seen like guys online for 2K, like taking the 24-second violations and then the 8-second backcourt.
8-second backcourt.
So yeah, you're right though. Everybody's honoring him in a different way, and I don't have a problem with it. So now I want to get into why Kobe had two different numbers. It's actually a very interesting story. So his Adidas Cant number, coming into the league was 143. Yeah, that up, it equals 8. And that's why he wore it. And he actually had a quote with this, as you can see here. When I first came in at 8, is really trying to plant a flag sort of thing. I got to prove that I belong here in the league. I got to prove that I'm one of the best in the league. You're going after them. It's nonstop energy and aggressiveness and stuff. And that was his I mean, we talked before about just this guy was an animal. He had a different kind of motor than other guys. Then he switched to 24, which was his first number in high school. At Lower Merion, and it's just interesting, really, that both of these numbers got retired. I mean, I don't know if it's ever actually happened. I think he is the first. I could be wrong on that, but he's, if not, he's one of few that have had that happen to them. Bobby, what is your just thoughts with that, and how, again, just his impact overall with throughout his whole career?
You have to be a special type of person to have two numbers retired.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we could go back and forth, but, Brendy unfortunately had to take a phone call from work, so he had to step out, but I'm sure he would be able to answer which one he may think is better. The number 8 Kobe, your number 24 Kobe, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, anybody who sees a Lakers jersey with a number 8 or 24 is automatically going to think Kobe. Anybody who knows anything about the Lakers. And I think they knew that, right? Because I'm sure the original discussion was like, well, which one should we retire? 8 and 24. And then like the typical, the girl from that like taco commercial, why not both? You know what I mean? Like, I think that you're definitely that special kind of player if you're getting two numbers retired. And they did it right. I don't think there was any other way you could possibly do that except retiring both. I mean, I think everybody in the NBA knew that was going to happen. I think they were completely supportive of it. So, to me that kind of makes sense, and it's a good thing to see. And I saw that during the day he died, the night there was the Grammys, and they actually had 2 spotlights on his jerseys the entire night, which was a nice little touch there for that. So they're in the rafters. They're gonna stay in the rafters. Definitely not coming down at any point. So it's you can't look at those numbers now in basketball the same on any team nowadays. You know what I mean? Like if I see 8 on a Sixers jersey, it's gonna make me think Kobe. It just is 8 and 24 are his numbers, and that's just that.
Yeah, I mean he just cemented a legacy, and I mean, quite frankly, he's one of the best to ever do it. In terms of all sports, do you think? I mean, I know the answer to this, and I know you know the answer to this. So why don't we just get to it? I mean, Kobe Bryant is one of the best to ever do it across all sports. Yep. Just absolutely cementing his legacy. Again, just what he did on and off the court, and one of the things that kept coming up, like you said earlier, was everything with his daughter and stuff, and yeah, it was awesome, like, to see him try to like break the game down for her.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe looked like he actually in the sports anchor Ellie Duncan, she had said in that piece that she had asked Kobe, do you want a boy or something? And he's like, no, like I would have, like, he was a girl dad, like that's where the
I would have
came
5
from.
more girls if I could, or something like that, or 15 more girls or something like that.
Yeah, and he was just, I mean, he was really good at what he did as a dad, and I mean, how does that really, I guess, make you feel, like, honestly, like, just to see the love that he gave his kids?
He was super proud of his kids. And the stories he would tell about Gigi were hilarious. I mean, I think it was Conan that he did a interview with, where he was saying that he said that, like, he'd be at signings and stuff like that, like, signing gear, or he'd be at an event or something like that, and a fan would come up to him and was like, yo, man, you gotta have a boy so that someone continue your legacy. And he said that she would be like, hey,
yeah, watch yourself.
I got this. What are you saying?
Yeah,
I got this, man. She probably would have been a beast, dude. The few videos I saw of her training with her dad, man. I mean, look, she was 12 or 13, but 13.
13, yeah.
But man, she could have been great, man. And her other daughters, I think one's like a volleyball player.
Yeah.
I forget what the others do, but I remember the volleyball players. So the athletics seems to run in the family, and I'm sure he was equally proud of all of them, and I'm sure supported everything that they did and will continue to do. But it was truly amazing to see. And that's a good father right there. That's really what that comes down to.
Yeah. I know, again, all these clips going around at Kobe, and one of the ones I thought was really cool was, I believe it was in the last game of his career. He's like looking over at his family, and then like gives him like a wink, and that was awesome. But yeah, during this clip with Duncan, she was talking about Kobe talking about Gigi, saying that middle one is a monster. She's a beast. She's better than I was at her age. She's got it. That's when Duncan broke down in the piece, because I mean, Gigi, just a beautiful young girl, and she had a lot. I mean, from, obviously I didn't watch her or anything, but from everything everybody had ever said, I mean, there was not a bad thing to say about her, and really Kobe for that matter as well. Yeah, man, it sucks. Like, I mean, it's what, like 4 or 5 days later now, and I'm still like in shock about it, and just seeing pictures, like, on screen now I have it's like a picture of Gigi, and Kobe has his arm wrapped around her, and it's just like surreal, man. Like, it
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, at all times they just seem so happy and so optimistic about the future, and just like that, that's just what happens. The life can do that, and that sucks. But we, again, as we said before, felt the need to get on about this, because Yeah, it's again just heartbreaking, and Kobe Bryant just a role model to a lot of kids, and I mean really just a lot of people in general, and just an inspiration. And and again, I just can't. I just for Vanessa and the family, I hope that um sending prayers because
Yeah,
this cannot be.
as best we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, this is obviously
Mm,
a nightmare for her, and
mm.
it's grief is not easy to deal with, and yeah, I mean, just for everybody involved, just prayers to them, and I know again,
Yeah.
obviously with the other families involved as well.
Yep.
Uh,
I do wanna read the names if you don't
yes,
mind.
yeah,
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, Gianna Bryant, Gianna Altobelli, Keri Altobelli, Alyssa Altobelli, Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, Payton Chester, Ara Zobayan.
yes. We like I said, we send our well wishes to the families and friends and anybody that may be affected. But that is it from the Come Play Network. Yeah. Again, not an easy way to really end the video. I mean, it's tough. In really any case, but that is all from us. Rest in peace, and to Kobe and everybody else involved.
See ya, Mamba.